All right, let's jump right in. Today we're going to do a deep dive into the world of inventory coordinators.
Sounds good.
Specifically for those of you out there who are prepping for an interview, we want to make sure you totally crush it. And you've shared some awesome resources with us from RoleCatcher, career guides, sample questions,
Yeah.
pretty much the whole 9 yards. So we're going to use this as like a personalized prep session for you all out there.
I love that.
So let's start off by talking about what's so fascinating about this role, especially in today's world.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things about this role is how it's evolving. So we're not talking about just dusty warehouses anymore.
Right.
E-commerce has like thrown open the doors, and inventory coordinators are really key players now in this like fast-paced global dance of getting products where they need to be when they need to be there.
Okay. So it's more strategic than I initially thought, which is super interesting. But I think what everyone out there really wants to know is how to ace that interview.
Of course.
And I think these RoleCatcher questions are like pure gold.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into it. The first one is, tell me about your experience with inventory management software.
Okay.
How should we approach this?
So I think with this question, you want to think beyond just listing the names of different software.
Okay.
It's really about showcasing how you've used these tools to make a real impact.
Right.
So think about things like, did you use software to streamline a process or maybe drastically improve accuracy? Maybe you even use the system to solve like a really tricky inventory discrepancy. Those are the kind of stories that are really memorable in an interview.
Right. Paint a picture with your words. Don't just give like a bland list of software.
Exactly.
And what if they dig a little deeper and they ask something like, what's the most challenging aspect of learning a new inventory management system? Because not everyone's a tech whiz, right?
Sure, and honestly is key here. I think it's perfectly acceptable to say something like, I find the initial learning curve can be a little bit steep, especially with complex systems, but I'm a fast learner and I really enjoy diving into new software. Oh.
And then you can highlight your strategies for learning new software. So do you like to break it down into smaller tasks?
Right.
Do you seek out online tutorials, or maybe you thrive in like more hands-on training environments, whatever your strategy is? Highlight it here.
I love that. So you're turning what could be perceived as like a weakness into a strength.
Exactly.
And I feel like this is also where RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful, right?
Totally.
Because it can analyze the job description and help you tailor your answers accordingly.
Yeah, for sure. So, for example, if the job description emphasizes problem solving, RoleCatcher might suggest that you mention a time that you like quickly mastered a new feature to resolve like an urgent issue.
Ooh, I like that.
So it's all about like highlighting the skills that they're looking for.
Smart. Okay, next question from RoleCatcher. How do you ensure accuracy in inventory tracking? This one makes me feel like they're trying to gauge my meticulousness.
Yeah, you're spot on. They want to see your commitment to data integrity.
So it's all about showcasing like the systems and checks you have in place to make sure that everything is accurate.
Gotcha.
So think about things like regular inventory inspections, cycle counting. It's kind of like checking your pantry for expired food so you don't end up with a disaster.
Okay, that analogy works for me. I can definitely see that. And I'm sure they're going to have follow-up questions like,
Oh, yeah.
what's the biggest inventory discrepancy you've caught and how did you resolve it? Gulp.
Don't sweat it.
Ah.
You got this. Just have like a compelling anecdote ready. So think of a time where you noticed something was off, you dug a little deeper, and you ultimately saved the day. Maybe you prevented a stock out or uncovered a data entry error.
Right.
This really shows them that you're proactive and detail-oriented.
Okay, that's good. Now, this next one from RoleCatcher sounds deceptively simple.
Okay.
Describe your experience with inventory audits. And I feel like there's a lot lurking beneath the surface there.
Absolutely. So it's not just about knowing the process. It's about showcasing your preparation and your transparency. So did you like meticulously organize all the documentation beforehand?
Right.
How did you ensure that the physical inventory matched the records?
Right. So it's about demonstrating that I take audits seriously and I'm not just scrambling at the last minute.
Exactly.
And RoleCatcher's AI can actually simulate a mock audit.
Right. It can. So you can practice answering audit-specific questions and get AI-powered feedback.
Wow.
Maybe you excel at like explaining the reconciliation process, but you struggle with describing your role in preparing for the audit.
Interesting.
RoleCatcher will pinpoint those areas where you can improve so you can practice and really shine.
Wow. Talk about taking the fear out of audits. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I think so too. And speaking of like potentially stressful situations, the next RoleCatcher question asks, how you prioritize inventory orders when you have limited stock.
Ooh,
This feels like a real-life juggling act.
totally. Where do you even begin with that one?
First, breathe. They're looking for your analytical skills and your understanding of business priorities. So walk them through your thought process. Do you analyze sales data to identify high-demand items?
Mm-hmm.
Do you consider lead times or maybe factor in upcoming promotions or seasonal trends?
So it's about showing that I can think strategically and not just react emotionally to a shortage.
Exactly. And be prepared for those tricky follow-ups as well, like how do you balance those urgent requests with maintaining optimal stock levels?
Yeah.
Or what factors do you consider when you're making decisions about back ordering items?
Oh,
They're all designed to kind of test your problem-solving abilities.
this is gold. I'm feeling much more prepared already.
Awesome. I'm glad. And there's more to come, so stay tuned.
Oh, I will. Don't worry.
We'll tackle even more challenging questions in the next part, including some of those tricky scenarios involving conflict resolution and navigating those inevitable inventory discrepancies.
Wait.
Stay tuned.
Okay.
Welcome back to our deep dive where we're helping you prepare for those inventory coordinator interviews using these awesome RoleCatcher questions.
Yeah, this is great stuff. I feel like I'm getting a crash course in interview success here.
Awesome. Well, let's keep that momentum going and dive into some more of these challenging questions.
Okay, get me.
All right, so the next one is, tell me about a time you had to resolve a conflict with a vendor.
Ooh, vendor conflicts. Those can be tricky.
Yeah, for sure. This is a classic test of your communication and diplomacy skills.
Okay, so how do I even begin to answer this one without sounding like I'm pointing fingers or, throwing anyone under the bus?
Yeah, I hear you focus on showcasing your problem-solving approach and your ability to stay professional under pressure.
Okay.
So you could start by setting the scene, like what was the conflict, what were the stakes involved,
Okay.
and then walk them through the steps you took to resolve it.
Okay.
Like, did you actively listen to the vendor's concerns? Did you try to find common ground or like a mutually beneficial solution?
So it's less about proving who is right and more about showing that I can navigate a difficult situation calmly and effectively.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to share what you learned from the experience as well.
Oh, that's a good point.
Maybe it reinforced the importance of clear communication or proactive problem solving.
Right, showing that I'm always striving to improve.
Exactly.
Okay, this next one from RoleCatcher kind of has me stumped.
Okay, what is it?
How would you handle a situation where you discovered a significant inventory discrepancy? Honestly, my first reaction would probably be to panic.
Yeah, it's understandable to feel a little flustered in that situation, but remember, the interviewer really wants to see how you think on your feet.
Okay.
The key here is to demonstrate like a systematic approach to problem solving. So you could start by explaining how you'd investigate the discrepancy.
Okay.
Would you review recent transactions, check for data entry errors, or maybe physically inspect the inventory?
So it's all about showing that I have a plan, not just freezing up in the face of a problem.
Exactly. And don't forget to highlight those communication skills. Like, who would you need to inform about the discrepancy? How would you make sure everyone was kept in the loop?
Right. Transparency and clear communication are crucial in those situations.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, what if they follow up with something like, have you ever encountered a situation where you had to make a difficult decision related to inventory management that feels super open-ended?
Yeah, it's a bit broad, but that's actually what makes it a great opportunity to showcase your critical thinking and decision-making skills.
Okay.
So think back to a time where you faced a tough choice. Maybe it was about balancing cost-saving measures with maintaining those optimal stock levels. Or maybe you had to decide whether to back order a popular item.
Right.
Those kind of tricky situations.
Okay, yeah, I'm starting to see how even a challenging experience can turn into a valuable interview story.
Exactly. And the key is to walk them through your reasoning. So what factors did you consider? How did you weigh the pros and cons of each option? Did you seek input from others? By showcasing that thought process, you demonstrate that you're a thoughtful and analytical decision maker.
I'm going to have to go back and reflect on some past experiences so I have those examples ready.
That's a great idea. And remember, RoleCatcher can also help you practice articulating those experiences effectively.
Oh, right.
Their AI can analyze your responses and provide feedback on things like your clarity, conciseness, even your delivery.
That's super helpful. It's like having a personal interview coach right there in my pocket.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm feeling brave. Hit me with another challenging question.
All right, here's one that tests your ability to think big picture. How do you stay informed about industry trends and best practices in inventory management?
It's interesting. It's not just about what I know now. It's about showing that I'm committed to continuous learning and improvement.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah.
So here's where you can really highlight that proactive approach to professional development.
Okay.
Like, do you subscribe to industry publications? Do you attend webinars or conferences? Are you an active member of any professional organizations or online forums?
So it's all about showcasing my genuine interest in the field
Yeah.
and my commitment to ongoing learning.
Exactly. And this ties back to RoleCatcher, too.
Oh, right. How so?
Well, they have a ton of resources that can help you with skill development.
Mm-hmm.
Their career guides can offer insights into emerging trends and those in-demand skills.
Okay.
They also have like a vast library of online courses and workshops so you can continue to upskill and stay relevant throughout your entire career.
Wow. I'm seriously impressed with all that RoleCatcher offers. It's amazing.
They're a fantastic resource for anyone who's navigating the job market, especially in a field as dynamic as inventory management.
Couldn't agree more.
Oh.
This has been so incredibly helpful. I'm feeling so much more confident about the interview and just excited about the possibilities in this field.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. And there's even more to come. So stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, I can't wait.
We're going to explore some potential career paths for inventory coordinators and talk about how RoleCatcher can help you chart your course for success.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about acing that inventory coordinator interview, but now I'm going to zoom out a little bit.
Okay.
What does a successful career in this field actually look like long term?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think what's exciting about this field is that it's not like a one-size-fits-all path.
Mm-hmm.
So the inventory coordinator role, it's really like a launch pad with different branches leading to all sorts of interesting roles.
Okay, so paint me a picture here. What are some of those branches?
Sure. So a natural next step for a lot of people might be something like an inventory team lead or a supervisor,
Okay.
where you start honing those leadership skills, overseeing a team of coordinators and taking on more responsibility for that overall inventory management process.
So building on that solid foundation and starting to manage people as well.
Exactly. From there, you could even move up to become an inventory manager,
Wow.
where you're responsible for developing and implementing inventory control policies, optimizing stock levels, really getting into the strategic side of things.
That sounds like a great way to leverage those analytical and problem-solving skills that we were talking about earlier.
Totally. And if you're someone who loves data and you're a real numbers person, a supply chain analyst role might be a perfect fit.
Interesting.
Yeah, you would be analyzing inventory data, forecasting demand, and helping to streamline that entire flow of goods from the supplier all the way to the customer.
So it's like taking those detail-oriented skills to the next level and finding ways to improve efficiency across the entire supply chain.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the logistics coordinator route,
Right.
which is perfect for people who thrive in fast-paced, dynamic environments.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be coordinating the movement of goods, making sure those deliveries happen on time, and keeping everything running smoothly.
Wow. So many possibilities.
Yeah.
It's really inspiring to see how starting as an inventory coordinator can open so many doors.
Yeah, I agree. And this is where I think those RoleCatcher career guides can be super helpful. Because they offer insights into salary expectations, required skills, even potential career trajectories, so you can kind of map out your journey.
It's like having a roadmap for your career.
Exactly. And they also offer a ton of resources for professional development. So online courses, workshops, skill guides,
Mm-hmm.
so you can continue to learn and grow throughout your career.
This has been amazing.
Mm.
I feel like I've gone from being nervous about the interview to actually excited about all the possibilities that this career path has to offer.
That's awesome. I'm so glad. And remember, preparation is key.
Yeah.
So use those RoleCatcher tools, practice your answers, and really envision yourself succeeding in this field.
Great advice. And to everyone out there who's prepping for their inventory coordinator interview, you got this.
Yeah, you got this.
Remember, it's not just about landing the job. It's about taking that first step on a really exciting journey.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
And good luck with your interviews, everyone.